Dear viewers, thank you for choosing Manhwa Compilation Channel. Enjoy watching. Jiang City Public Security Interrogation Room. It was a small room with a high ceiling. A man was sitting at the table. The dim light of the lamp cast dark shadows on his pale face. His trembling lips betrayed anxiety, and his eyes reflected a deep fear penetrating every cell of his body. The surrounding environment only strengthened all ego feelings. Public Security of the City of Jiang, First-Rank Police Officer Xu Jing. Mr. Zhang Yi, a silhouette of a girl with a folder in her hands, appeared on the threshold. Even greater horror was reflected in the man's eyes. "Hurry up and close the door," he shouted, covering his eyes with his hands as if from a bright light. "Close it." "Okay, I'll close it. Calm down," Xu Jing calmly answered, entering the room. She stood in front of the man and immediately started asking questions. "Now can you tell me what happened?" Her voice was calm. "Huh," the man breathed out. "I told you. You won't believe me." He sat, all grumpy. The tension was audible in his breathing, as if he was fighting an invisible enemy inside himself. "You don't need to pretend to be a fool. You won't escape criminal responsibility," Xu Jing began to shout. "Think about what you have done to your family." A terrible picture appeared in the man's mind. A woman in an embrace with a child lying motionless on the floor, and a belt torn in half. The man tried in vain to compare the events of that day. Suddenly his face was contorted with horror. He rasped, "Behind! Behind!" He pointed to something with his hand, behind Xu Jing. "Huh?" The girl didn't understand. She turned sharply to the door. "There's nothing there." Standing up, she looked at the man. Steel notes sounded in her voice. "Mr. Zhang Yi, better don't ask tricks." "No!" shouted the prisoner, hiding under the table and clasping his hands around his head. He clearly saw how the floor was split by a spider's web of cracks, and eyes were staring at him from everywhere. They were terrible, red, full of fury. These eyes were now everywhere. On the walls, on the floor. They were watching him. The man under the table was cowering in terror. His body was throbbing with nervous tremors. A silent cry froze in his eyes, which were round with fear. Xu Jing looked at him, trying to understand what was happening. "Mr. Zhang Yi," Xu Jing tried to shout at him. Terrible red eyes were getting closer and closer to the man. It seemed that they were already inside him. "Don't come closer!" The man, not remembering himself from fear, screamed wildly. "Get off!" The hand in handcuffs was in his mouth. It was his hand, but it seemed to act by itself. Red eyes followed his every move, controlled him. "Put your hand away! What are you doing?" the man yelled loudly. "Come here! Hurry up!" Xu Jing decided to call for help after all. Jiang City High School, Ghost Community Game Room. "And then?" asked one of the guys present at the game tables. There were images of beautiful girls on the monitors. The guys, not breaking away from their work, continued to discuss what had happened. "When the police came running," said the other guy, Xia Bin. "He already killed himself. They say he bit off his own tongue." To be convincing, the guy grabbed himself by the throat, trying to describe the horror of that event. "After this horror story of yours, I won't be able to sleep all night," Li Zhongxing answered him, clutching the toy in his hands. "This is not a horror story. This is a real story from the Public Security Organization. It's spread all over the internet." Xia Bin continued. "As far as I know, it's all because of one photo on the internet. Whoever sees this photo will die." He put his hand to his lips and rolled his eyes, feigning fear. "What photo?" Li Zhongxing was already shaking with fear. Xia Bin picked up the phone. "Now I will find it." Li Zhongxing couldn't stand it anymore and snatched the phone from Xia Bin's hands. "Wait, if what you said is true, then we can't look at the photo." You talking about it?" All the while, the boy who was sitting next to me and was silent decided to intervene in the conversation. On the ego monitor was an image of a terrible red eye. The reaction of the guys was not long in coming. Ah. With eyes round with fear, they screamed in exasperation, looking at the photo. "Don't worry, everything is fine," Yuan Zhenhe replied calmly. He continued to look at the monitor with an unperturbed look. "Why are you so confident?" Li Zhongxing still trembled with fear, clinging to Xia Bin. If everyone was dying, just looking at the photo, the end of the world would have come a long time ago. And as for those dead people, it was a demon sitting in their souls, answered Yuan Zhenxi with confidence in his voice. Okay, play on. I still have work to do, said Yuan Zhenxi, getting up from his chair. But the guys didn't want to let him go. It was tough with him. Zhenxi, don't spoil everyone's mood. How long is it? Li Junxing said disgruntled. You're acting like an old man. Shake yourself off. Why are you leaving so early? After all, you won't be studying anyway. Xia Bingbin supported him. Next time, answered Yuan Zhenyi with a wave of his hand. Yuan Zhenxi's house. Evening fell on the garden, and the windows of the multi-story buildings were lit. Yuan Zhenyi inserted the key into the keyhole and, thinking for a second about something, slowly opened the door. My name is Yuan Zhenxi. I was an ordinary university student, living the most ordinary life. Yuan Zhenxi stepped into the dark space of the room, letting in the long silhouettes of the light from the corridor behind him. The room was empty, and only 2 glasses of unfinished wine reminded of a dinner spent with someone. Until a month ago, I heard some strange voices in the library. Yuan Zhenyi recalled how he reached for the book. Something strange was coming from this book. Something that he still did not understand. Something strange red aura. Obeying his curiosity, Yuan Zhenyi opened the book. The red aura grew even stronger, spreading beyond the book. Yuan Zhenxi stared at this aura, unable to tear himself away. I was curious and opened a book called Urban Legends. In this book was hiding something demonic. A red glow spread everywhere, penetrating everywhere. And then I found myself in this world and became a student at Jiang City High School. Yuan Zhenyi recalled how he knelt down surrounded by this red aura, listening to my feelings. My parents died in a plane crash. They left me an inheritance and insurance compensation. Thus, he saved me from any worries. Before Yuan Zhenxi's eyes flashed pictures of those events, the grave of his parents, and now he is completely alone. But because of this book, I have to live. There are only 30 days left. Legend points, 0. Good and evil points, 0. The rest of life is 30 days. The inscription on the page read, there was a special pendant around Yuan Zhenxi's neck. He felt that this pendant came to life, as if it lived its own life, and the book, she also lived. Records of Urban Legends. Legend points, 38 ruas. Good and evil points, 200. Spiritual power, 0 plus. Remaining life, 92 days. 1. All the legends you wrote down will come to life. 2. The legends you write down will bring you benefits. You will receive a certain number of legend points. 3. If someone dies because of the legends you wrote down, you will receive good and evil points. The inscription in the book changed every time. According to the rules of the book, I must write down urban legends and get points for good and evil, so I will be able to prolong my life. I studied the book and noticed, if you just read a legend, it immediately comes to life. And the first legend that I wrote down was about a daughter and a mother who lived in the neighborhood and who were killed by a violent in a way. Urban legend, a look through the crack. On March 4, 2020, one photo appeared on the websites of the city of Jiang. This photo was very strange. It depicted a huge eye. Someone should see this photo in the city of Jiang. How domestic violence appeared in the family of this person. And eyes. Looked at the murderer out of all cracks. The eye could look at a person from any cracks, changing the person's consciousness, causing him to lose his mind and ultimately commit suicide. 7th June 2020, Zhang Yi returned home in a state of intoxication. Since the water in the bathroom at home was not hot enough, he began to beat his wife. There was another very strange circumstance. The experience of someone who looked at a photo and who was followed by his eyes was recorded in text on the pages of this book. Good and evil points, +2. Legend points, 370. 1 page per person. 2 points of good and evil for each person, and depending on the degree of legend influence, 300, 400 legend points. I got too much from this story. It's already been a month, and I was able to increase my life expectancy from 30 days to 92. Yuan Zhenxi was upset. He looked at the book as if he was waiting for a hint or an idea from it, but nothing has come to mind yet. I need a new story that can compensate for this. Yuan Zhenxi held the book, not feeling anything. There was some kind of emptiness in his soul, or perhaps despair. Otherwise, this number will reach one day to 0. Yuan Zhengxi was aware of the consequences of this sinister game. It seems that he already regretted that he went to get this book in the library. "I'm afraid," he finally admitted himself. The book came to life again, enveloping everything around with its ominous red aura. It penetrated everywhere, into every crevice. She penetrated Zhengxi himself, squeezing his throat with her vile tentacles. "I'm really going to die." He almost didn't care. Jiang City High School, Class K. It was an ordinary day. There was a feeling of freedom in the air after the end of the lessons, and the students hurried to leave the class. Everything except Zhengxi. He slept. "He likes to sleep. He has been dying all day," one of the students remarked. "Zhengxi, the lessons are already over. Wake up," laughed the other. "Let's go to the community." Zhengxi opened his eyes and stretched. "I'm so tired. I was thinking up a new story until 4 in the morning yesterday," he thought relaxedly. "My neck hurts." Zhengxi headed for the exit, pondering his plans as he went. It seems that it's useless to look for inspiration in the ghost community. They just idle around or play computer games there," he thought. "I'll send a message that I won't come today. Ghost community. Sorry, I didn't sleep all night today. I'll go home." He quickly sketched out the text on the phone. He immediately received indignant replies. "Zhengxi, you're over the moon again. Wait, maybe you quietly play games at home to impress us all?" "Ha ha!" Zhengxi smiled. "They are joking, but I have a question of life and death." "Huh?" Zhengxi's attention was distracted by some noise. "You asked?" he thought after what appeared before his eyes. Verzela was beating a guy twice his age, and 4 of his girlfriends were watching the process. "Did you beat the teacher because of some 50 yuan? Tired of life?" yelled Verzela at the same time. "Brother Ren, I was wrong. I'm sorry," excused the guy. "Don't hit me." "Hey!" Jenny called out to them. 5 against 1? Aren't you ashamed?" Verzela. Ren left the boy alone and with a malicious look headed towards Zhengxi. "Who are you? Do you want to die?" yelled Ren, swinging a baseball bat as he went. Yuan Zhengxi?" whispered to Zhengxi. "Huh? Do you know me?" Zhengxi looked at the Verzil approaching him without a drop of fear. "Brother Ren, okay, let's go. This guy is a psycho," one of Verzila's friends muttered. "Will we be afraid of one's ego?" Ren was outraged. "Last semester, 5 of us dealt with him. 3 ended up in the hospital. One of them still doesn't go to school," reminded one of the friends. This... Stopping, Ren remembered. After exchanging glances with Zhengxi, Verzila dropped the bat and headed for the exit together with her friends. "I'm hungry. Let's go eat." Ren came up with a reason as he went. "Spa. Thank you." Rescued Qin Xiaoshan was still sitting on the floor. "Thank you, Zhengxi," Qin Xiaoshan repeated once more. This time he stood up and bowed slightly. "Thank you for giving me inspiration," Zhengxi thought. Arriving home, Zhengxi sat down at the computer, intending to create a new urban legend. But first, he decided to look at the statistics of the city. School bullying is a tumor on the body of society. Say no to bullying in school. The Department of Research on Schools in the city of Jiang published a report, which says that recently there have been more cases of bullying in schools. Even some of the best schools in the city are not in forces to solve this problem. It is also reported that the anti-bullying measures taken in schools do not help. The study was based on the results of a survey of 38,540 students from 46 schools. The study showed that 46% of elementary school students and 73% of high school students had ever faced with bullying at school. Data from the Youth Development Research Center showed that more than 80% of high school students have ever resorted to violence. According to statistics, more than 2,000 cases of school violence were published in the media this year. Research by the Youth Development Center last year showed that 58.9% of high school students had ever or constantly been subjected to violence. It doesn't matter in which world, but bullying exists everywhere, Jenny thought. Yeah, an idea came to his head. Zhengxi concentrated on the details of the new legend. His hand involuntarily reached for the pendant on his neck. The picture of the beating of the poor man, whom he later saved, again appeared before his eyes. Hooligans most often offend those who don't have the strength to fight back or those who don't have support, thought Jensi. He opened the book. A red aura once again filled the space around. If I give weapons to those who suffer from bullying, I will be able to dig up the deeply planted seed of violence, Jenny reasoned, writing down his plan in a book. Line by line, a new urban legend was born. Surrounded by the aura of the book, Jensi continued to write. Legend points, 30,000. Every night at 0 Zoigorin Sarah on the site called Kingdom of the Dead, names of people who are possessed by malice appear. There you can also see a girl from the afterlife. Before his eyes appeared the image of a beautiful girl from another reality. Fragile and tender, she seemed to glow from within, surrounded by the same red aura. Her name is Yu Minai. Her big, sad eyes seem to be looking straight into your soul, seeing all your secret thoughts and cornered malice. It was said, "Do not dare to report to school. Why are you here again?" The words were heard to the unfortunate girl. The girl was lying on the floor, unable to defend herself. Why is this happening precisely with her? "You are so ugly. Why do you call people's eyes? In your place I would have died a long time ago," shouted the bully right in her face. "Ah," the poor woman sobbed. Others, not hiding their pleasure, watched this disgusting picture, filming everything along the way. "Why are you coming at all? You're disgusting," said the hooligan. The poor girl did not have the strength to stand up and resist the one who, for some unknown reason, considered herself more beautiful. "God! Hurry up. Take a picture of this little girl. If I meet her on the street, I'll think I've run into a ghost. Ha ha ha." The bully Shi Hei Hui continued to mock the unfortunate girl. The victim's name was Gulia. "Ha ha ha! How terrible!" Shi Hei Hui was still not calmed down. Gulia rummaged through her backpack in search of something that could help her. A red flower appeared in her hand. "Oh, she's so angry, she even resists." She continued to mock the unfortunate Shi Hui Hui. "Shi Hei Hui, you forced me." Gu Li finally couldn't stand the teasing. In her hand was a fire flower. "Ah, what the hell?" Shi Hei Hui exclaimed out of surprise. She did not expect that Gulia would still dare to resist. "Die! Die!" shouted Gulia. "It's funny. You think you can kill me with a flower?" Shi Hei Hui laughed in her face. "Idiot! Ha ha ha!" But the power of the flower had already been put into action. Huh? Shi Hei Hui did not understand what was happening. Her malice and rage were replaced by pain and fear. Something happened to her. "Xiao Hui, you," Gulia said. Shi Hei Hui's face changed beyond recognition. Her beauty disappeared somewhere, and in its place appeared a face with empty glasses, distorted by fear and despair. Shi Hei Hui no longer existed. Something terrible appeared in her place. It screamed in terror. "Ghost!" someone shouted. "Help!" Shi Hei Hui rushed, trying to stop this process of reincarnation, but it was already too late. "Ah, ah, ah!" cried what was once Shi Hei Hui. "Crunch!" There was a sound as if Shi Hei Hui's bones were breaking. She still tried to escape, calling for help. Everything around was as if in a fog, and only Gulia's face looked at the ghost through this fog. In the chaos of everything that was happening, the video on the phone of one of Shi Hei Hui's friends still continued to be recorded. Chaos around and screams drowned in the abyss of dark forces. Beauty Shi Hei Hui no longer existed. "The person in this video is you?" asked Gu Liu in a stern voice. "Yes, it's me," Gulia admitted. She was sitting tight in an armchair, clutching her backpack. The girl was in a state of shock and did not understand what had happened. Director's office, Jiang City High School. There were two other girls in the office with Gu Li. One of them was holding a phone in her hand, watching a video. "At 8 a.m. today, the number of abnormal deaths in the city exceeded 200, said a girl in a business suit. It was Qi Xiaoyan, the assistant. Qi Xiaoyan stared at the phone, trying to understand what was happening on the recorded video. "They are the same as Shi Hei Hui. All of them were brain dead, but no signs of violent death were found," she stated. "You are the only suspect detained by the special department." Qi Xiaoyan addressed the frightened Gulia. Did you communicate with a girl from the afterlife? Tell me more. Another girl joined the conversation. She stared at Gulia, trying to determine who she was dealing with. This is the head of the special department, Qingji, the only one who can help you at the moment. I hope you will not make rash concessions. Qi Xiaoyan addressed Gulia, who was trembling on the chair. Codename Qingji, special department. Qingji glared at Guli through her glasses. Okay, replied Gulia. She collected her thoughts and began her story. A few days ago, a strange message appeared on the R forum at midnight, which could not be deleted or edited. The post contained information about an urban legend, a girl from the afterlife. A girl from the afterward exists. Hell's message that is available only at night. If you enter in the chat the name of the person on which you hold both, then the girl from the hell will appear and put that person into the pool of hell. At first, everyone thought that this was an announcement of some game. No one believed that such a thing was real. Gulia continued her story. People in the chat animatedly discussed what they saw. A girl from the afterlife? A new urban legend? Could this be a new game? That's how they're asking to promote it? Midnight. I want to try to come by in the evening. Maybe I'll find something interesting. People in the chat were joking, not taking what they saw seriously. I waited until midnight. Then I crossed the street and everything opened, Gulia recalled. She stared intently at the monitor, waiting for an answer. How can I help you? Finally appeared on the monitor. With trembling hands, Gulia entered the name, Shi Hai Hui, in the chat window. All that remained was to press the send button. I know that I shouldn't have done such a thing. I understand that if the legends don't lie, then a person can die, Gulia thought, looking at the monitor. But, before Gulia's eyes at that moment, it seemed her whole life flew by. She was so lonely, alone with her trouble. No one supported her. No one. Teacher! Gulia stood in front of the teacher's uncomprehending gaze. Why do you think they targeted you? Maybe you should think about your behavior. The teacher was completely indifferent to Gulia's suffering. What? Do you want to transfer? Do you know how much effort I had to put in to get you into this school? Gulia's mother shouted hysterically, not even trying to understand her daughter. At home, the girl also had cruelty. She did not know what motherly love was. Shi Hei Hui's distorted and malicious face appeared again in Gulia's memory. There was nothing good in Gulia's life. Nothing to grab onto. Only tears, pain, and endless humiliation. I'm fucked up to the throat with this. If the girl from the afterworld exists, then I'll accept her help, Gulia decided. Message sent. Time passed, but nothing happened. A second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Heh. Gulia thought. I was hoping for an urban legend. How stupid. She continued to stare at the monitor, still hoping to get at least some kind of answer, but nothing changed. Tears of despair and pain flowed from Gulia's eyes. Probably nothing will happen. Everything will remain as before. My head is spinning, Gulia remarked. Seeking for me? The inscription suddenly appeared on the monitor. Gulia was scared and happy at the same time. She did not expect to receive an answer. An image of a beautiful girl with big sad eyes appeared in front of Gulia, her hair flowing like a gust of wind. Yuminai. It was her. You? A girl from the afterlife? Asked Gulia, still in disbelief. It's me, was the answer. Girl from the afterlife, Yuminai. She looked at Gulia with her big red eyes. In her hands was an unusual flower, red, as if glowing from the inside. Gulia sat on the ground in the middle of the second world. Yes, it wasn't Yuminai who came to Gulia's world. It was Gulia who ended up in another world surrounded by a red aura. Yuminai looked at Gulia with eyes full of sympathy. She didn't know what to say, Gulia. Don't be afraid. I came to help you. Yuminai reassured her. She approached Gulia, who was sitting on the ground, and bent down, looking directly into the tears and despair of the unfortunate girl's eyes. Come on, hold it. Yuminai handed Gulia a glowing red flower. Around them were the same red petals. They floated in the air, filling it with their red glow. As soon as you pluck a flower, we will make a contract with you, Yuminai said, handing Gulia a flower. And the person you have hidden both of them will be sent to hell. Yuminai looked at Gulia, waiting for her decision. Gulia held a flower in the river, not knowing what decision to make. On the one hand, she really wanted to take revenge on Shi Hei Hui, and on the other hand, Deep down, she understood that it was wrong. But your soul will go there later, Yumine added after a short pause. What? Gulia exclaimed in surprise. She did not expect that she herself would also be punished for her concession. But why so? After all, she is a victim of bullying, and she has already had enough. Yuminai looked Gulia straight in the eyes, explaining why. The curse of others reflects on your karma. Your soul will no longer be able to enter heaven. It will live in torment in hell. Anyway, the choice is yours, said Yuminai, watching her reaction. Two feelings were fighting in Gulia's soul, the desire to punish the guilty and fear for her soul. By the time I regained consciousness, I was already sitting in the bedroom. Gulia finished her story, wiping her tears. You know what happened next. Gulia huddled in a ball and sat in a chair in the office. She could feel Qingji's piercing gaze on her, as if looking right through her. A curse? The price of murder, she thought at that moment. Qingji got up from her chair and came closer to Gulia. Have you communicated with anyone else in the last 2 days? Has anything unusual happened? She asked Guli. No. Gulia answered timidly. Did she feel guilty? Who knows? It seems that the curse affects only the people who signed the contract, said Qingji, putting on her gloves. Qi Xiaoyan's level of spiritual power is too low. She will not be able to see through the curse. Only I can, Qingji thought. At that moment, her right hand changed, the skin seemed to disappear, and the bones were visible. Has Madame Qingji discovered something? She is using a thief's hand, Qi Xiaoyan guessed, watching the process intently. They say that this hand has the ability to steal everything, be it physical or conceptual. Don't move. I'll lift the curse. Qingji reassured the frightened Gulia. Phew, phew. Gulia couldn't say a word. She grabbed the armrests with trembling hands, trying not to fall to the floor. The sensations were not pleasant. The price is that when you use this technique, you yourself are left without something. And it's not clothes or other consumables, thought Qi Xiaoyan, looking at the process of removing the curse. And what organs, be it the liver, the heart, and the other? Qingji intently stared into Gulia's very heart. The curse was strong, and it was not easy to remove it. Moaned Gulia. It hurt. Drops of sweat flowed down her face interspersed with tears. At that moment, she felt as if her heart was being ripped out. Moans turned into screams. Everything around was filled with the same aura, sinister and red as fire. Qingji was not going to give up. She needed to complete her ritual. Lady Qingji, Qi Xiaoyan shouted. Everything around collapsed. Huh? At the same time, Zhensi felt something. The educational institution was almost empty at that moment. Most of the students had gone home and only a few of them stayed. Zhensi heard a sound as if something split. What's the matter? He thought, listening to the noise and dull bustle around him. It seems that a window has broken in the director's office, one of the students remarked. Did you hear? The bully Shi Heihui is dead. The students discussed the latest news. Someone saw how Gulia, who studied in the same class, was released to the director, responded another. If I remember correctly, did Shi Heihui make fun of her? The third jumped into the conversation animatedly. Huh? Did the information about the girl from the afterlife on the forum turn out to be true? The students discussed the recent incident with interest. Gulia. Zhenji remembered. The name appears on the first page of the legend about the girl from the afterlife. She is the first one to contact her. Gulia, student of Jiang City Senior School, went to the Kingdom of the Dead website, written the name Shai Haihui into the chat, and then met the girl from the afterward world. Shai Haihui died. But while Gulia was hesitating, the number of people who had contracted the girl of the afterlife has increased dramatically, pointed out Zhensi. To prevent harm to the innocent, I have set up many psychological obstacles. Only in desperation, people will be able to write a message. But in just a few days, more than 100 bully students died in the city of Jiang. I'm not surprised. Zhensi felt a certain degree of moral satisfaction. But good and evil points. 1 legend points. 150. Despite the fact that there are more incidents of revenge with a girl from the afterlife than peeping through the cracks, there are still not so many points. Zhensi was upset. He expected more. Bullying is on one scale. Domestic violence is on the other. family suffering is much more pronounced. And this means, in other words, cases of bullying are not as terrible as violence in the family, which is why there are not so many points, Gensi reasoned. But I still don't have to worry about the longevity of my life. Urban legend records. Legend points, 23,000. Good and evil points, 300. Spiritual power, 0 plus, life remaining, 99 days. So, last night I tried to add something to the spiritual power, Genshi continued his monologue. Looking at the book, spiritual power, 0 plus. A little later, spiritual power, 1 points of good and evil. 1. Oh, it seems that there are no changes. Jenny looked at his hands, as if he was trying to see something unnatural. I'll add more. Good and evil points, 300. Spiritual power, Quan, good and evil points, 1. A little later, spiritual power, Poi 1, good and evil points, 1. Gensi experimented, trying to understand how this system works. I got 9 points of spiritual power. He noticed, but something went wrong. But suddenly I reached the limit and lost my self-control. Aura of the book almost completely mastered Gensi. He became like something demonic. Gensi began to feel an unprecedented strength and lightness in himself, as if now he could do much more than before, even overcome the boundaries of familiar reality. When I woke up today, I noticed that my hearing and visual skills have improved significantly, and I have also become more resilient. It seemed to Gensi that now he could control everything, even his own body. Looks like if I keep writing, I'm going to be really special. Gensi likes such sudden changes. What other secrets and opportunities does the book contain? And this pendant. Gensi left the room and was about to leave, but 3 girls caught his attention. One of them was a student, and the other 2 were employees of the special services. The curse was very strong, because it is related to the soul. Fortunately, the others were not affected. Soon people from the department will come and take you away, said Qingji Guli. Huh? Genshi couldn't understand what was happening. He stared intently at the 3, as if trying to eavesdrop on their conversation. And what will they do? Gulia was scared. Qingji and Qi Xiaoyin held her by the arms and led her somewhere. Observe. Qi Xiaoyin answered the frightened student. But in the report I will indicate that you acted in self-defense, Qingji clarified. Miss Qingji, Qi Xiaoyin did not hide her admiration. Thank you. Gulia thanked, sobbing. Let's go, Qingji commanded, moving forward. Gulia obediently followed them. Qingji suddenly stopped as if she sensed something. Someone's presence. Ms. Qingji, what's the matter? Qi Xiaoyin asked, noticing that Qingji had noticed something. It feels like someone is watching, answered Qingji, narrowing her eyes. She can see curses. Genji determined, looking at Qingji. Really, he thought. She also has abilities? Qingji tried to identify the observer in the crowd, but where is he? Ms. Qingji? Qi Xiaoyin called out to her. Qingji listened to her inner feelings. She thought, who is she? From public security? Gensi thought, watching from the corner. Can't leave now. She came, he thought, mechanically grabbing the pendant. Something had to be done urgently. You can't let her find the notebook. If you see it, he thought, watching with fear as the girl came closer and closer to him. We found it! A shout reached him. Ah, the appearance of the guys brought Gensi back to reality. Why are you here? His friends disrupted all his plans with their appearance. You've been caught, Xia Bingbin shouted, grabbing Gensi tightly by the neck. You ran away as soon as classes ended, Li Zhongxing shouted, hanging on Gensi from behind. Heh heh, Gensi almost choked. Come on, let's go to the club, Xia Binbin commanded, not letting him come to his senses. Let go, and then we'll go normally. Gensi panted, trying to free himself from their rapture. No, the guys shouted in unison. Okay, Gensi agreed, smiling, especially since he found an opportunity to escape from the agent girl who was chasing him. I made up too much, Qingji began to doubt herself, looking at the fooling children. A phone call distracted her from her thoughts. Hello? She answered. It's me. I'm going. Qingji continued her conversation, going down the steps. Qi Xiaoyin and Gulia waited for her all this time. Game room of the Prirakov Society. Perhaps, at least let me go now. Are you really afraid that I will run away? Tried to break free from the clutches of Gensi. Humph, that's right, Li Zhongxing replied. The minimum number of club members is 3 people. If the teacher finds out that I'm alone here, our club can be abolished, Xia Binbin explained his insistence. I'm sorry, but the last few years I've been very busy. Zhensi tried to justify himself. Stop lying. Jia Bingbin didn't believe him, pressing the bell button. Are you still writing stories? What genre? Asked Li Jungzhen. Yeah, about the supernatural, replied Zhenzi. Show us! The boys shouted in unison, hugging their egos. Oh, I only have drafts. Zhenzi tried to brush them off. Tess, how boring you are. You don't trust us at all. Li Zhongxing was offended. And we are with you with all our hearts. Xia Binbin supported his ego. Haha, wait until I finish at least. Zhenxi laughed. Can I show them? He thought at the same time. Haha. What, do you really have no inspiration? Continued to terrorize Zhenxi guys. I've had a lot of similar ideas in recent days. I think I can inspire you. Xia Binbin did not give up. Why not show you? Li Zhongxing began. An urban legend that recently appeared on the R forum, and it's called… Xia Binbin tried to remember the name, entering a search query along the way. A girl from the afterlife, the guys shouted in unison, poking a finger at the monitor, where the name was written on an ominous red background. Forum R. Girl from the afterworld. Oh, Jenny pretended to hear about it for the first time. They're trying to inspire me with my story. It won't be easy, Zhenxi thought. Huh? Said one of the guys disappointedly. How is this possible? What's with the internet? Xia Binbin was indignant. The found page suddenly disappeared, and instead the monitor displayed the inscription 404 Form R. Server not found. Problem with the internet? Zhenzi wondered. No, pop-ups appear. Xia Binbin was puzzled. The Wi-Fi on the phone is working. Videos are playing, Li Zhongxing confirmed. Jenny was as surprised by what was happening as the guys. Wait, I can't even go to the forum from my phone. Li Zhongxing poked at the phone. There was an error. It turns out the problem is not with the network. The forum has been blocked, thought Zhenxi. Wait, couldn't the infernal society be thrown into the block? Zhenxi tried to find logic in what was happening. The face of that blonde agent immediately appeared in his head. Maybe it was the handiwork of those two. Zhenxi mentally went through the options of what happened. His anger at the fact that everything he had planned is falling apart forced him to get up and leave the club. Huh? Zhenxi, what's the matter? Li Zhongxing was indignant. I have to leave, Zhenxi shouted as he walked. Zhenxi, are you abandoning us again? Xia Bingbin was offended. Zhenxi raced down the corridor to the exit. He urgently needed to deal with the problem. At this time, Zhenxi saw Qin Xiaoshan being beaten again. Suddenly, Zhenxi froze in place. You are looking for death. Come on, try to complain to the teacher, threatened Ren, rolling up his sleeve. Frightened, Qin Xiaoshan sat on the floor in confusion. Here Ren noticed that Zhenxi was watching him. Huh? You again? Ren got angry. Zhenxi! Qin Xiaoshan looked at him like a savior. Help! He pleaded in desperation. I'm sorry, there's no time, Zhenxi suddenly said. There was a dumb question in Qin Xiaoshan's eyes. He stared after the departing Zhenxi, not believing his eyes. Ha ha, what's the matter? Ren openly laughed at his victim, striking at the same time. I thought Zhenxi would always cover for you. He continued to beat Qin Xiaoshan. Everyone knows that he's a moody person, an idiot, laughed Ren, already starting to move. If he's in that mood, maybe he'll help you again. Qin Xiaoshan had no chance. Today, he will get the full amount from the vile Zhen, and the only thing left for him is to watch after the fleeing Zhenxi. She couldn't have gone far, could she? Zhenxi thought, stopping at the exit to catch her breath. Phew. He stood and tried to collect his thoughts. Phew. Fragments of phrases came to him. Students were discussing ordinary things. There was so much homework today. How did the exam go? Huh. 2 points weren't enough. Nonsense. Zhenxi still stood there, wondering what to do next. Hell. No visible. He thought, if the infernal communication is also turned off, then they represent a threat to me. Zhenxi clutched the pendant convulsively, searching for clues. It is necessary to find out their personalities. Otherwise, I will be bound hand and foot, he thought. And if I do not increase my life expectancy, terrible pictures appeared in his imagination. Death itself drew him your bony hands. And also, red eyes. They were everywhere. Jiang City, public safety. The office was noisy. It was the middle of the working day, and the work was boiling. Qingji. As you said, to prevent new victims, we have blocked the R forum, Xu Jing reported. Excellent work, Qingji praised her. And what about Hell's communication? It seems the website is under protection. Qingji thought about something. Suddenly, an idea came to her head. Clean up the room, let them leave the building, asked Qingji. A glove was put on her hand again. Huh? Xu Jing did not understand. Tonight at midnight, I will try to block the website, said Qingji. Where did she even appear? Thought Xu Jing. Ladies and gentlemen, I will ask everyone to collect their belongings and leave the building, one of the employees announced upon entering the office. Why? We still have a lot of work to do. The servants were indignant. This is an order from the head of the special department, explained the other Xu Jing. The series of suicides was transferred to a special department, Xu Jing told her staff. Special department? Wondered one of the agents. The special department is subordinate to the higher analytical center of the Department of Public Security. It specializes in various kinds of strange incidents that ordinary departments cannot do anything about, explained Xu Jing. Special department. In general, this is an order from above, she added. Night, 11:55 p.m. Miss Qingqi, it's just blocking the website. Is it really that serious? Qi Xiaoyin wondered. How many days did you train? Asked Qingji. 3 days. The girl was upset. Yes, it turns out they sent a newbie. Qingji smirked. 23:56. I'm sorry, Mrs. Qingji. I wasn't going to hide the fact that I'm a recruit. I thought you already knew. Qi Xiaoyin apologized. Forget it. It seems that the experienced assistants in the special department have died out. Qingji reassured her. Have you attended courses on ghosts and the like? Qingji asked, just in case. Of course, Qi Xiaoyin exclaimed happily. Ghosts are the souls of people who died either from old age or for some other reason. Basically, they are not dangerous, Qingji began to explain. As a rule, we stop them right away, Qi Xiaoyin continued, frowning. There are other ghosts who had a strong grudge during their lives. Having met such a ghost, the ego must be eliminated immediately, continued Qingji. As for others, ordinary people don't notice them. But I believe that you will be able to eliminate everything, Qi Xiaoyin exclaimed enthusiastically. Hey. Qingji smiled and thought. Then I will tell you one fact, Qingji said now with complete seriousness. For people, others are not only something incomprehensible, but also something immortal. After thinking a little, she added, only one can handle another other and kill him. And what about the people? Qingji was forced to admit. We can only note the strange circumstances of the death of people. It is necessary to keep a distance from others, but find a way to prevent further murders. The other world turned out to be much more complicated than Qi Xiaoyin had thought at first. Do you know why the special department sent you, despite the fact that you trained for 3 days? Asked Qingji and, without waiting for an answer, added, because by investigating strange incidents on your own, there is a high probability that you will die soon. Helpers are here, consumables. What? Qi Xiaoyin was shocked and her excitement at the anticipation of her first task diminished sharply. In the morning at school, you were supposed to check the girl for Enlichi curse. But you don't have enough experience, so you didn't notice anything? Qingji said. 0. Screen recording. Are you sure you want to run the program? Okay, release your spiritual power and press enter, Qingji suggested. Don't worry. If you die, your family will receive a pension of 5 million. Qingji found the rookie agent's uncertainty amusing. Qi Xiaoyin hesitated. Of course, you can refuse. They will leave the room and leave the special department. Qingji smiled slyly. Peek. Qi Xiaoyin still made up her mind and pressed enter. Closed his eyes. Qi Xiaoyin tried to release her spiritual power. The space in the office began to move. The newcomer was not weak. Oh, Mistress Qingji, is it over? Qi Xiaoyan said with a hint of doubt. It seems that everything is not so scary. Qingji reassured her. Huh? Qi Xiaoyan couldn't believe her eyes. This… On the monitor was Hell Communication. What is this? Qi Xiaoyan was visibly nervous. Hell Communication is disabled. Qingji looked thoughtfully at the monitor. Maybe this is some kind of warning. Mrs. Qingji… Qi Xiaoyan watched as Qingji calmly left the office. You have proved yourself well. I wish you success. Qingji answered calmly. If it was a warning to someone else, then this is an unprecedented discovery since the creation of the special department. Qingji mused. But someone who controls the mind. I hope I'm wrong. Qingji took out her phone and dialed a number. Hello, Hunyin, she said into the phone. I need your help with the investigation of the girl from the afterlife. Huh? Answered the guy, not taking his eyes off the monitor. I still need you to look at the photo of the eyeball. Qingji continued. You must have heard that more than 200 people died because of it. According to the information, anyone who sees the photos will die in agony, Hunyin clarified. Do you want me to look? Bad colleague. You can't even ask for help normally. Hunyin looked at things more simply and tried to relax more. So why don't we make a deal? It just so happened that there were two strange incidents at once. I think it's better to investigate everything together, Hunyin offered, smiling. So to speak, I'll be your fellow traveler on the road. Okay, but first deal with the matter about the girl from the afterlife. Qingji agreed. It's all very serious. I'm not kidding. Her number received an incoming call. Okay, this is the Department of Public Security. I'm hanging up. Qingji hastened to interrupt the conversation. Huh? We talked too quickly. How? Hunyin didn't have time to finish. 10 minutes ago, 11:58 p.m. Zhenxi was sitting at the computer, typing something quickly. As soon as these two left the school, the forum was immediately closed. I think everything was done to prevent the spread of the legend about the girl from the afterlife, he thought. As for ending hellish communication, I don't even know if they'll succeed. Zhenny broke away from the computer and opened the book. I think they belong to some organization that investigates paranormal phenomena. It's quite unpleasant. I didn't think that such organizations existed. Ding ding! The sound of an incoming message was heard. The site is not blocked? Zhenxi was surprised. An inscription appeared in the book. Did Xiaoyin from the Special Department of Jiang City enter the Hell Communication? Communication error. Okay, it looks like I'm saved. Zhenxi calmed down. Phew. He pressed the book to him, and finally, he relaxed. Since they failed to block the infernal communication, it means that their abilities do not allow to restrain the girl from the afterlife. Zhenxi returned to his thoughts. But how are these two related to the special department? He typed something into the computer again. Of course, there is no information about the special department of Jiang City on the internet. Zhenny was not surprised. Search of Qian. Special Department of Jiang City. Sorry, no information was found for your request. We advise you to try. There is no information on major forums and websites, Zhenxi noted. In any case, it's clearly not worth treating them lightly. If I want to continue to live, I cannot allow them to trample on the other I have created. It is necessary to continue to improve the spiritual power. Zhenxi returned to his plans. He sat down, crossed his legs, and concentrated on his body. But at the last moment, I reached the limit of my capabilities. Bodies. I don't know what will happen this time, Zhenxi thought. Suddenly, I won't be able to keep everything under control anymore. Urban legends. Legend points, 23,000. Good and evil points, 291. Spiritual power, 9+. Power, the only guarantor of survival, concluded Zhenxi. Oh, he exclaimed. Body! Zhenxi concentrated on his physical sensations. Has it changed? It feels like it's swelling. I feel like power is filling me. Zhenxi looked at the book again. Spiritual power. Well, 1. Good and evil points. 100. Your spiritual power is increased. No, it's a soul. Zhenxi felt something outside his body. My soul is growing. Oh. Zhenxi got up and took the book again. After the transformation, there are no side effects. On the contrary, the body became more relaxed. All the senses were heightened. Ah, He still noticed that something was wrong with him. Why such a strange feeling? Jenny stood and stared at the door. Who is he watching me? After standing for a while and thinking, Zhenxi relaxed. Actually, I felt someone's gaze on me from time to time, he recalled. Now, when the spiritual power has grown, I can clearly feel where it comes from. Zhenxi sharply opened the closet door, not understanding why. I almost forgot that here. He looked at the box with the inscription, "Fragile items, handle carefully." Huh? Zhenxi peered into the depth of the box. A red glow was coming from there. Why are you so nervous? He said, taking the box in his hands. I created you. Don't worry like that. That's right. Jenny carefully put the box down on the floor and opened it. From there, many eyes looked at him, red, with different emotions. Mom, said the creature from the box. Makabaka aka. The creature asked, uttering the words, Maka. It was not malicious and even somewhat funny. Kid, don't you want to have a little snack while you watch the cartoon? Zhenxi asked, holding the food in his hands. You have been sitting in the box for so long. Don't want to go for a walk? The creature did not dare to get out of the box. Mom, it tried to say, trembling and watching Zhenxi's actions. Oh, it looks scary, but in fact it's an ordinary baby. Zhenxi smiled. Okay, then I'll sing, Jenny said, sitting next to the creature. Ding, ding. The phone rang. Hello? Took Zhenxi's phone. Zhenxi. A voice rang out from the phone. Read the message quickly. One presenter broadcasts about the murders of a girl from the afterlife. What? Zhenxi exclaimed. This is the owner of the house who previously opened a discussion about the girl from the afterlife on the R forum. A demonic man with chicken soup. They continued to shout from the phone. Today, he wants to meet a girl from the afterlife live. Hey, let's wait a few more minutes, the demonic man with chicken soup asked the audience. The audience reacted differently. Cool. Let's look fear in the eyes. Am I the only scared one here? Why is the screen black? Where is the picture? To tears. I am proud to host. The presenter found what was happening funny. I really want the girl from the underworld to take you away as soon as possible, he joked. The audience was brought to the edge. Cool. Hurry up. I can't wait any longer. Forward, strong man. Please leave a comment. Good luck, host. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Faster. Start. I know you're in a hurry, but don't worry. The demonic man with chicken soup continued to entertain the audience. The real show will start soon. He. Many say that after entering the name in the chat of hellish communication, the girl from the afterlife never appeared. Demonic man with chicken soup continued his show. Maybe she doesn't exist at all. Zhenxi watched the show in anticipation of the denouement. It's a complete lie, laughed the demonic man with chicken soup. The demonic man with chicken soup stood in front of the camera, theatrically raised his hands up. If you want a girl from the afterlife to appear, your heart must be filled with both, he said. You must be cornered. He laughed, sitting back in the chair. This is the rule of girls from the afterlife, said the demonic man with chicken soup, smiling ominously. The audience reacted, what should have been expected, and frightened, thank you. I strained my pants. Presenter, you are so terrifying. Nightmare, damn, cool. I've tried this for a long time. The host, you stink. Zhenxi, grinning, looked at this stupid show. Do you think you understand the rules of the girl from the afterlife? It's not that simple, Zhenxi thought. Well, let's see if you can summon her. Night, 12:30 m. Community of Happiness. Qingji and Hunyin were standing on the street, watching the same show. And I, full of both. Qingji read the messages from the viewers. She dialed the number and gave the instruction. Shastia Community, 4th floor, 4th block, room 404. Get ready to interrupt the live broadcast and arrest him. Hey, do you think he will tell the truth? Smiled Hunyin. It's quite possible, answered Qingji thoughtfully. 2 days ago, the special department discovered several experimental criminals, but they did not contact the girl from the afterlife. And this also seemed strange to me. Qingxi continued, still watching the show. Now it's understandable. I think both of those criminals were not strong enough. Qingji and Hunyin put away their phones, and now they were simply discussing the latest events. Maybe this person has prepared, Qingji suggested. Huh? Hunyin asked again. Although ordinary people do not have spiritual power, they cannot be underestimated, Qingji clarified. People who are able to understand the rules and survive, she added thoughtfully, looking at the windows of the 4th floor, stronger than some mentors who possess spiritual power. And among the topics, the demonic man with chicken soup show was gaining momentum. I think there are still people who don't believe. That's why I invite everyone who wants to see with their own eyes. Demonic man stirred up the audience even more. The audience reacted again. Come on, continue your show. Damned presenter, only you do what scares you. It seems that the presenter is up to something. Maybe he will succeed. Earlier, I also tried to enter the name of his father as an experiment. Go ahead. I also tried to write the name. Nothing came out. A lie. Good luck, presenter. We are rooting for you. I'm afraid he will die. Let's try, shouted the demonic man. He entered the message and pressed enter. How can I help you? The inscription appeared on the monitor. And again, the reaction of the audience. Cool. Damn. What's going on? Deception. It's not true. Demonic man enjoyed his moment of glory. Ha ha. It turned out, he rejoiced. Then he picked up the phone and began to type something. Here. You can't see anything, he said, continuing to do something on the phone. Wait. Very soon you'll see a girl from the underworld. But something went wrong. Phew. Phew. The demonic man was feverishly typing something on the keyboard, but it was useless. Phew. Now. Out of desperation, he started yelling like crazy. The broadcast was interrupted. Outraged viewers demanded an explanation. Zhenji opened the book, continuing to sit at the monitor. The broadcast was interrupted? He was slightly disappointed. Let's look at further development. Behind Zhensi was someone else. He already knew it, not daring to stand up. It was Yu Minai, a girl from the afterlife. He sensed her. A girl from the afterlife? But confusion was felt in his voice. Why did you appear at my place? Utility room. Qin Xiaoshan tried to get out of the utility room. Let me out. His phone fell out of his pocket and fell to the floor. Happy faces were looking at him from the screen's saver parents, and he with them. He looked at the phone. You will all die. Die. If the girl from the netherworld is real, then I want her to take you all, Qin Xiaoshan shouted, desperately dialing a message on the phone. Hey, I heard the legend of the girl from the netherworld is quite popular recently. Ren grabbed his ego by the collar. Qin Xiaoshan moaned. Did you really decide to write my name to her, huh? Idiot what? Shouted Ren, swinging his fist. Brother Ren, Qin Xiaoshan couldn't finish. He was hit in the face. I already told you, if you dare to do this, I will send you in that world. Continued to hit Jen. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Qin Xiaoshan shouted. I just wanted to know if the legend was true. Even Yuan Zhenxi didn't help you, even though he saw how you were suffering. Do you think someone else will help? Qin Xiaoshan remembered how he begged Zhenxi for help, and he calmly left, leaving him in trouble. Do you hate him? Suddenly asked a cunning question. Huh? Began Qin Xiaoshan. I don't hate. Of course, I hate it. Qin Xiaoshan grabbed the phone and quickly dialed a name. Yes, I curse you! I hate it! He shouted with a furious look. I was beaten because of you! Enough of me! Qin Xiaoshan entered Yuan Zhenxi's name in the field and pressed the send button. At the same time, Zhenxi did not understand what was happening. He thought, Zhenxi turned to Yu Minai. You came to take me to the afterlife? Yu Minai looked at him with sad eyes. No, master. Despite the fact that your name was mentioned in the Hell community, she said, I cannot take you away. Yu Minai still held a red flower in her hands. Because, she added, you are outside the rules. The contract is signed, only you will decide the outcome of what is happening. You can cancel the contract and send to hell the person who wrote your name in the chat. Qin Xiaoshan, Yu Minai answered. Qin Xiaoshan, who? Zhenxi could not believe what was said. Do I know him? Images of the possible development of events flashed through Zhenxi's head. On the one hand, reporters. I definitely wrote Yuan Zhenxi's name. I saw a girl from the afterlife. Why didn't she take the ego? On the other hand, special services. Yuan Zhenxi has serious problems. Capture the ego. Yes. Zhenxi thought. If I abruptly extend the contract, he will understand that I have not entered the afterlife, and people from the special department will focus on me. Then, Zhenxi made another decision. Take him to the afterlife. But, he added, I want to meet him first. Understood, master. Answered Yuminai. Qin Xiaoshan gradually came to his senses. He could not understand where he was. A boat. This is... He finally realized. Girl from the afterlife? But, no. Everything is wrong. You were supposed to take Yuan Zhenxi away. How did I end up here? Asked Qin Xiaoshan, who did not understand anything. I must have plucked a flower. Hey, are you Qin Xiaoshan? Another voice called to him. Not ready to die. Yuan Zhenxi? Got it. I understood. Does he want revenge? But the demon did not answer. Shouted Qin Xiaoshan. What is this? Help! Save! Help! Help me! Help! Answer the question, Yu Minai reminded. I'll tell you, Qin Xiaoshan finally said. He helped me once when Wang Jianzhen was making fun of me. But if he hadn't passed by the second time, I wouldn't have gotten Wang Jianzhen. He locked me in the utility room. The demon finally understood. So you were offended by Zhenxi? Qin Xiaoshan hung in the air in anticipation of the worst. Qin Xiaoshan, I think you didn't know that the girl from the afterlife was created by me. And now you have to answer for everything, the demon continued.